Good morning. How are you today? Well, it's ice cold out and a little windy. But it's really nice. It's bright out, so that's nice. Sunlight shines upon the corruption in Washington. Justice is a coincidence of our present system, not a consequence of it. Everywhere we look, there are people violating the law even as they mutter, "No man is above the law." When plainly many men and perhaps women are above the law, even after the insurrection on the Hill. We get two signals from the current Justice Department. One is everything's on the table. We're going to investigate what happened, including inciting to violence and insurrection and rebellion. And then the next day, no, we're only going to look at what happened inside the Capitol. Well, how did that happen? It didn't happen in a vacuum. And why is that the case? It appears the FBI has a broader investigation than what the current Justice Department is saying. And the question is, will Garland seize the reins and pick up and conduct a full and fair investigation, including Big Don, Little Don, and Rudy Giuliani, all of whom stood at a rally and encouraged people to be violent and to go up to the Hill. Now, this situation, it may have been hatched as early as right after the election when Trump wasn't visible. And he can't keep his mouth shut, so he keeps telling us something is coming. You wait and see. And so we can't really expect this lying son of a bitch to be telling us the truth now, that, oh, there'll be a peaceable transition. I don't believe it. Nobody should. So how much danger is there for the inauguration? The next obvious place for demonstrations and disaster and problems, asymmetric force brought to bear on a government that Pollyannish thinks it's over, when it very likely is not. So, should we be moving the inauguration so that the asymmetric force is baffled? Can we ignore the fact that our law enforcement mechanism was not in place, that we had men literally risk their lives, and one died, fighting the insurrection? He was bashed to death. I mean, no man or woman, anybody, should die like that in defense of his country. And they're going to celebrate today or tomorrow the former vet who came in trespassing, broke into the Capitol with others, and was part of a surge to break through into the chambers, the House chambers. And she was shot and died from wounds, blood running from her neck. I don't celebrate any death, but it was a righteous act of violence in defense of the Capitol, of our sacred business, and of our government. So are we going to have this again? Are they going to use her as a martyr? With Trump in the White House, I believe it's all possible. And I believe it's a mistake not to go forward as if it's possible. When the Justice Department seems to give a signal through its U.S. attorney, they're going to investigate everything. Everything's on the table. And the next day they say they're only going to investigate what happened inside the Capitol. What, property crimes? Are we going to ignore the Molotov cocktails found in the trucks, the explosive devices, the pipe bombs, the weapons, the ties by which maybe they could have made hostage if they could have found the people in the offices that are not so easy to find, some of them. Some are obvious. And they pushed past all security. To what end? And who had what assignments? Those are questions that go beyond the insurrection, because they tell us at the very least how we should be defending the Capitol in the future, and how it was not defended, and I believe it was not defended on purpose. And that's a very sad affair. So, what is Congress doing? It must frustrate you as it does me not only do we get mixed signals on the prosecution that hopefully will be cured when Garland becomes the Attorney General, and he puts in place the heads of his divisions, criminal division and so forth. But what we have is a Congress that sort of delays. You've probably heard me quote Seneca, "The fates lead you to your destiny or drag you to it." Well, they're being dragged. And on the one hand, it's dramatic to say the president should resign. The president should be subject to the 25th Amendment. The president should be impeached. But why do they have to go first one, then the second, then the third? Let the days pass, 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours. The sure response is the response that deters when there are lawless and unconstitutional things going on in our country, when its stability is at issue. And we're at a fragile time. And this is not a time when the members of Congress should be any place else but in the Capitol until, at the very least, the inauguration. And they should be acting now. And the fact that they don't, I think, puts us at risk. There is an argument to be made that until we have the new Senate in place, we can't go forward. But even with the new Senate, what we have is we still need more votes than a majority, 2/3, and 60 votes. We're not going to get that, probably, unless we're forceful. The Republicans have already retreated from strong statements. The ones that we'll end up working with are those Republicans who stand true to the fact that they care about the nation. So, in the days ahead, I think that we should be encouraging our leaders to take the inauguration to the Armory or some other secure location. I think that we have to double down on our security, that is, from the law enforcement community, because they weren't there, and they weren't there for a reason. And there are people who know that already. And we'll be learning this, and we don't want to be learning it when it's too late. So I'm just a guy yammering on a dirt road in Virginia. And I'm hoping that the kinds of minds that deal with these things in anticipation of an event, they don't just know what should be done. They're honest brokers, and they want it done because they believe, as you and I do, that this nation is a precious commodity in the world. And we have to fight for it, and we have to continue to fight for it, because what happened on the Hill shouldn't just make us angry. It should make us anxious to defend, to protect and defend the Constitution. So, I'm sorry if this is kind of a bummer, but I do think the tea leaves are there that this hasn't gone away, and we have to act upon it. So, I'll be out tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have some encouraging signs that people are taking this seriously and not thinking there's an all clear sound yet, because I don't believe there is. All the best. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.